So here I was, leaving Port Townsend on my way to Portland to meet my cousin for a fly fishing trip on the Deschutes River. I brought a friend, Dino. After a nice train ride from Seattle to Portland, we finally arrived at Union Station. Well, first start of the trip is a train ride to Portland, crossing the steel bridge with a Willamette. First, though, it was off to Edgefield and Troutdale at McMinimans to meet a friend for a concert. We saw National. After a fun night of slight debauchery, though, we were off to the Deschutes River.
Met a girl downtown at the bar last night and we got to talking. Said she likes cheap drinks and tattoos and Morgan Wallen. She said, what about you?
What a contrast. The high desert, one of my favorite places on earth. Mecca Flat and the Warm Springs Indian Reservation on the Deschutes River is one of my favorite places. Been coming here for years with my best friend and cousin Pat and his family. After a few days, though, of swimming, fishing, and drinking, it was time to move on. Just left Mecca Flats. I'm riding through Warm Springs, kind of following Highway 26 off the beaten path. So I just rode up the hill out of the Warm Springs Indian Reservation. And now I'm cycling the byways south of Highway 26, heading west on my way to Mount Hood, or south of Mount Hood anyway, to do a little camping before heading to Portland tomorrow. So far, really nice weather. People are, for the most part, courteous on the road. Pretty cool. I think this is Mill Creek in the Warm Springs Indian Reservation. I'd stop here and have some lunch. here's something frustrating. Just following the ride GPS route through Warm Springs Reservation, and I was on one of their back roads paralleling Highway 26, trying to stay out of traffic. It's beautiful out here. The one truck that I see after riding this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles, being chased by a couple dogs, the one truck I see has me pull over. It's just some random fellow, probably an Indian that lives here, I assume, and warned me that I'm not supposed to be back on these roads, that I could actually be arrested. And he recommended I turn around and go back to Highway 26 the way I came, rather than continue on to get back, or to get out of the reservation. So I don't know, it looked like the same truck that passed me on the highway coming up the climb out of Warm Springs downtown. He came really close and kind of goosed it as he went by me. Probably wasn't that guy, but I don't know, just frustrating. But I get it, it's their land. They get the short end of the stick most of the time anyway. So I'll just follow the rules. I'm gonna go back out of town. Go back on Highway 26. A little bit of a delay because I was really hoping to have some time before, dark. But now I'll probably end up riding pretty close to sunset, which is fine. I like it. But it's going to be in the highway with traffic, so it's not going to be quite as enjoyable. Anyway, that's how it goes. Update. Highway 26 through Warm Springs is no fun. Probably the most stressed out I've been ever on a bicycle. On top of that, there was a bit of a headwind for most of the way. Now, they've got the highway shut down for one lane only because of paving, so the westbound lane is currently stopped right now, which means I have the whole highway to myself for a while until they let the westbound people through, and then I'll just pull over and let them pass, because there'll be about 100 of them, and continue on that way. I think I'm going to try to make it to Timothy Lake tonight and then set up camp there. I'm wiped out. I must have rode between 40 and 50 miles today. 90% of it seems like it was uphill. I finally turned off of Highway 26 towards Timothy Lake, which was 10 miles away. So I'm probably 8 miles or so right now. Just doing more climbing. Seems to be what the day's about. I'm swerving because I'm so tired. Hungry and my butt hurts. It's Timothy Lake. It's expensive to camp here. They don't have any hike or bike sites, so I'm just going to use this bench to make a little snack and see if I can't poach a spot somewhere. But I couldn't take it any longer. I had to eat something. It's been a long day. So, this is a staple for me. that I find on these cycle trips or bike tours is some sort of flatbread. In this case, it's pita, maybe a burrito or a tortilla sometimes. With some peanut butter. Banana that somehow didn't get squished. And some honey. Sort of like a little taco. So good. Oh boy. Hold it. Neighbors are rocking out. I can't wait to bite into this. Oh my god. So good. So Timothy Lake is not a lake. Timothy Lake is a reservoir. Looks like I got some visitors. I don't have any food for you guys though. Oh, finally. Today was a tough day. Probably the toughest day of cycle touring I've done so far. There was a lot of wrong turns because of closed roads to the public. So I had to turn around. I bet you it added 15 miles total, at least. And then I rode, I think it's 40 or 50 from the Deschutes River in Warm Springs to this backside of Timothy Lake that I'm at right now. This is a free campground. It's what they call dispersed. It's kind of nice. There is a little bit of little junk here and there. But all in all, it's pretty good. I don't know if my butt hurts more or my legs hurt more, but I think my butt, but we'll find out tomorrow when I wake up. I think my legs felt strong for the most part. I just waited too long to eat. My lungs are good. It's just getting back on the saddle for long distances. I spent the entire winter not doing anything, just nothing. Just I commuted to work, which is a short distance by bicycle. But I didn't do anything to stay in shape, so I'm paying for it now. But I think it was a positive start because there was that was a horrible highway to ride on. There were a lot of times there was zero shoulder, even on some turns. So lots of big trucks just right by you. Like you could reach out and touch them, big semi trucks. So it was stressful, but once I got on this back road to Timothy Lake, it wasn't so bad. It's just I was wiped out by that time. And the hardest part was all the climbing. Like it was just 90% climbing. Just straight up from the Deschutes River. It's a couple descents, kind of undulated here and there up in here in the mountain, but not many. And then there was a headwind, which I think a headwind is worse than a hill. It's demoralizing. But yeah, all in all, it was positive. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I hope it's going to be more downhill since I'm at the highest, or I think I'm at the highest point of the ride. There'll still be some undulation, and I'm going to be in the backwoods, headed towards Estacada, Boring, Selwood, and ultimately downtown, where I'm meeting a friend, and we're gonna go see a show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then after that, Saturday, I start my big trip, which is the Oregon Outback Trail, where I hop the train in Portland, head to Klamath Falls, and then from Klamath Falls train station, the next morning, and I'm just tired. The next morning, I start riding north on the east side of the Cascades in what's known as the Oregon Outback. It's on bikepacking.com or bikepacker.com. I think it's also in Adventure Cycling, or it's in Adventure Cycling and maybe in Bike. I don't know. But either way, the trail map is there. It sounds pretty fun. I'll have a full report. And yeah, right now I'm just having some bagged wine. It's left over from the fishing trip, and really tastes good right now. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I woke up kind of in a dumpy mood because it had been raining all night and it was drizzling. And then I went to light my little one burner stove to make coffee and some oatmeal. And the stupid igniter quit working. I could see where it broke the porcelain insulation, and so it wouldn't spark. And I don't, like an idiot, have a lighter. So anyway, I was kind of in a funk. But now, just riding through these beautiful forests, like on what seems to be a never-ending downhill, I'm like feeling pretty good. One of the forks of the Clackamas River is just follows it. It's beautiful. I should take a few pictures, but just enjoying this downhill so much. It just never ends. It's probably been like 15 minutes of downhill. And I'm kind of worried though that I'll probably have to go back up all this. Maybe not. I think I'm going down into the Clackamas River and then heading out towards Estacada. Anyway, fun little update. I almost ran over this guy crossing the road. And I've almost hit an owl. Like an owl flew right in front of me. So, super fun ride this morning. Just when you think it's gonna end at the downhill, it just keeps going. The beautiful river right next to me. I can't see it, but it's there. The Clackamas River is just beyond these burnt trees. Apparently there was a forest fire recently. This is on Highway 224 westbound, just down the highway from Bagby Hot Springs. They have it closed because of fear of landslides, I guess. Talking to one of the firefighters, apparently there's another fire up the road. Hopefully this rain helps get rid of it. After a long, rainy morning, nothing sounded better than a big breakfast in Estacada. So I stopped in Estacada, had a great breakfast, lots of food and coffee. Felt good to get out of the rain for a little bit. And after that, I started through Estacada and down to Barton, and that has to be some of the most stressful, also one of the more stressful areas. A lot of times there was blind corners with no shoulder, and worst of all, the people driving are horrible. But anyway, I'm here in the Springwater corridor in Portland. Yeah, I'm almost there now. You can see it's Portland. It's interesting. Already I've like gonna get in trouble for filming, but seeing all sorts of stuff. More on that later. But here, almost there. And lots of it looks like to be the same artist throughout here. So that's it. Fly fishing the Deschutes River, spending time with family, friends, and then cycling back to Portland for the train ride south to Klamath Falls and my next cycling adventure.